Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are all doing well. Today I will talk about something very important. Especially during COVID-19, the importance of this topic has risen very high. So this is about immunity. So what do you understand by the term immunity? Immunity is actually our body's defense against the pathogens out of our body. So our body is a home of bacteria, and the environment is also full of lots of bacteria and other germs. But when we each moment we inhale a zillion of bacteria and other pathogens, but not every bacteria and pathogens make us ill. Rather, uh, we our body have a defense system that works against the pathogens outside of our body. So um, at first, let's learn about the classification of immunity. So there are two types of immunity. That's active immunity and passive immunity. So active immunity is immunity which where an individual develops as a result of infection or by specific immunization, and is usually associated with the presence of antibodies as cell having a specific action on microorganisms concerned with a particular infectious disease or toxin. Like if you are having a disease, then your body will actively work against that disease pathogen to protect your body. So that is active immunity. So in other word, we can put it like that: active immunity depends upon the hormonal and cellular response of the host. So the like host, for example, the host is a human, and uh, its defense against a pathogen is active immunity. The immunity process is specific for a particular disease. For example, individual in cases, in the most cases of immunity, is like have a very hard protection against further infection with the same organism, and antigenetically linked to the organism for varying period depending upon the particular disease. Like for example, if you are already have if you had a disease for the first time, like you have any type of infection for the first time, your body will actively work to defend yourself for the side effects of that pathogen. So this will result in an active immunity mechanism. So active immunity mainly occurred in three ways, like following a clinical infection like chickenpox, rubella, and measles. So if you have any of these infection, your immune system will rise up and protect you from those diseases to further attack you. Very simple example that if you are affected by chickenpox, only one time you will get the chickenpox. Like most of the cases, because your body builds the defense against those chickenpox pathogen. So this is number one. And number two, the following and subclinical or inapparent infection like polio or diphtheria. And number three is following the immunization with an antigen, which may be a kill vaccine or live annullated vaccine or toxoid. So basically vaccination. So three type. One is active clinical infection, two subclinical infection, three vaccination. So the immune response is uh, of two type, like primary response and secondary response. So for the primary response, when antigen is administered for the first time to an animal or a human who has never exposed to it, there is a latent period of incubation of 3 to 10 days. Like that infection will stay hidden for 3 to 10 days before the antibodies appear in the blood. Uh, so the antibody is uh, mm, firstly the IgM type. We will discuss the Ig immunoglobulin M, immunoglobulin I, and other immunoglobulin later. So the IgM antibody rises steadily during the next 2 to 3 days or more, reaches a peak level, and then the declines almost as fast as it developed. Meanwhile, if the antigen stimulus was sufficient, Ig immunoglobulin G antibody appears in few days, and rising peak in 7 to 10 days, and then gradually falls over a period of weeks or month. তো আমি যদি বাংলায় জিনিসটাকে দাঁড় করাই তাহলে জিনিসটা এমন হবে যে প্রথমে হচ্ছে প্রাইমারি রেসপন্স হিসেবে প্রথমে ইমিউনোগ্লোবিউলিন এম অ্যাক্টিভেটেড হয়, তারপর ইমিউনোগ্লোবিউলিন জি অ্যাক্টিভেটেড হয়। তো এম এর জন্য সময় হচ্ছে 2 থেকে 3 দিন, আর ইমিউনোগ্লোবিউলিন জির জন্য সময় হচ্ছে 7 থেকে 10 দিন। তো এগুলো সবই অ্যান্টিবডি, এগুলো অ্যাক্টিভ হয়। ওকে, সো নেক্সট, the nature and extent of primary response to an antigen is determined by a number of factors like dose of antigen, nature of antigen, route of administration, and um, adjuvant and presence of maternal antibody. Like, it's important why we emphasize on mother cells, because mother cells provide the antibody we need, nutritional status of the host, genetic and coexisting diseases. For example, with small doses of antigen, only immunoglobulin type of response may be induced, and successive small doses of antigen at suitable intervals may also induced by immunoglobulin M antibody. The antigenic dose required for the induction of immunoglobulin G is about 50 times that which is required to induce immunoglobulin M antibody. An important outcome of primary antigenic challenges is education of the reticuloendothelial system of the body. So there is production of what called memory cells or primed cells by both B and T lymphocytes. These cells are responsible for immunological memories, which becomes established after immunization. In fact, the purpose of immunization is to develop immunological memory.